Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Bivol versus Beterbiev. But I suppose the first question is, would you rather have money or respect? And I think that's the question at hand for Dmitry Bivol. So you have maybe an option of fighting Canelo Alvarez again in Cheching, or you go after all the belts, you go after legacy, you go after bragging rights, you go after, your name going down in the history books. People forever knowing your name in this sport and always being recognized in this sport. So which one do you want to chase at the moment? I feel like Canelo Alvarez is kind of sure money, but that is definitely sure money. I'll say it like that. That is sure money. But at the same time, I think Canelo Alvarez, at least I'll say it like this. For Bivol, I feel like that could be a very short window. Why? Because maybe Canelo Alvarez will wake up tomorrow, come to his senses, and realize that he can't beat Dmitry Bivol. And now that big check and payday that you could have possibly gotten is now gone. But if Beterbiev, fight somebody else, maybe those belts could be gone. You got Anthony Yarde over there. I personally don't think Anthony Yarde can beat Beterbiev, but stranger things have happened in boxing. So, Andy Ruiz. Stranger things have happened in boxing. But which one would you choose if you were Dmitry Bivol? I think that's the question for this video. I think that's the question at hand. I think Dmitry Bivol is extremely hot right now. I think he's on fire. And what could keep that blaze burning? I think, so obviously if you're fighting Canelo Alvarez, well then all eyes are on you. You're at the highest stage in this game, in this sport. So obviously that could keep the fire burning. If you beat Canelo Alvarez even more impressively than you did last time, which I personally believe Dmitry Bivol would do, then that little blaze would turn into a raging fire. However, what if the fight that he fights Canelo and it's a lot closer? What if it's a draw? Well, then, the blaze kind of goes out. But now you're with Canelo. Canelo, I believe in his heart, knows he can't beat Dmitry Bivol. But if I can fight you to a draw, well, I'm happy with that. I'll ride off into the sunset. I got a draw against you. I don't ever have to see you again. And the nightmares that I had last night about you beating me up are no longer there because we fought to a draw the second time. So at least I improved the second time around. You clearly didn't. That's a big if. I do think that's a big if. I don't foresee Canelo beating Dmitry Bivol at all. I especially don't believe that Canelo will fight Dmitry Bivol to a draw the second time around. I don't. I actually believe that Dmitry Bivol would beat Canelo even worse in another fight. I really do. I might even dare to say that he could. I'm not going to say knock him out, but I will say put him down. I will definitely say put him down. For the first time, I will say put him down. I think Dmitry Bivol could put Canelo down. I think he has more than enough confidence. I think he has 10 times more than enough skill. And I think he just has all the attributes that it takes to beat Canelo Alvarez. I said it before my fight breakdown. I said Dmitry Bivol has better legs. He does. And that's a huge part of his game. His movement, huge part of his game. I said Dmitry Bivol is a lot more fluid in throwing his punches. He is. That's another huge part of his game. There's no tenseness. There's no tightness. There's the time that it takes for him to think about it and actually do it. It's not there because he's literally had like 400 fights, 300 fights. So it's not there. He just knows what to do. He just knows what to do. And his body is just doing what is done 300 and something times over now. Like when we talk muscle memory, when you talk about these guys having 300-400 fights, that's a muscle memory, people. So let's just say that Canelo came back and he maybe even put some more muscle on, whatever the case may be. And he was way more aggressive. He throws way more punches. Maybe he decides not to take a rest in the latter rounds like he did the first time. Who knows? Maybe if he tried a high guard, I don't know. If he just tried something completely different. I still think that Canelo rising to his best and Dmitry Bivol rising to his best, Dmitry Bivol still levels ahead of Canelo Alvarez rising to his best. So at any point, I just don't think that they match up well. Canelo Alvarez needs somebody who's going to be slower paced, who's not going to throw as much, who'll take breaks with him. Like Dmitry Bivol is not going to take a break. Dmitry Bivol is not going to another thing, sit still and be a stationary target and fighter. Dmitry Bivol is not going to do that either. He's not going to do any of the things that allows Canelo to shine in a fight. So I just don't foresee. One, I don't understand why Canelo wants that. I mean, I understand why he wants it. He wants that get back. I get that. But as much love and admiration as this team has for him, I know there has to be somebody over there with common sense that's like, bro, you're not going to win this fight. You're never going to win a fight against that guy. The skill sets are just completely different. And his skill setting is a lot higher than yours. You're just never going to win against that guy. If there's ever a time that you need to let something go, there's two things that Canelo Alvarez should let go. One, a rematch with Floyd. You ain't getting that. Floyd is retired. Floyd is in his middle 40s, close to his late 40s. Floyd ain't fighting you. Let that go. And winning against Dmitry Bivol in a rematch. You don't want that. I feel like if he fights Dmitry Bivol, it will hurt Canelo way more than show, wow, you got a lot of gusto, you a lot of machismo, that you would take on that guy again. No. Because I think he gets messed up in the second fight. Now, that being said, Dmitry Bivol fighting Beterbiev, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. You're talking about a guy who has a whole lot of experience like you. You're talking about a guy who hits like a Mack truck. You're talking about a guy who's just as fluid as you. You're talking about a guy who comes from the same school you come from. You're talking about a guy who comes from the same part of the world you come from. So he gets down the same way you get down, and he was brought up the same way you was brought up. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. You're talking about a guy who trains all year round. You're talking about a guy who is he's literally a Terminator in the ring. That's dangerous. But look at what you get. You get to go down in the books. Is it worth it? Yes. This is what you do this for. This is why you step in the ring, so you can get those straps. So is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. Is it dangerous? Absolutely, it's dangerous. It is not easy. I think Beterbiev has kind of the same skill setting that Bivol has. But I think the only thing that would set them apart is the footwork of Bivol and the fluidity of Bivol. That's it. Beterbiev throws a lot of punches too. But he's not as fluid, and he's not, because he hits like a Mack truck, he doesn't have to be elusive. When you hit that hard, you don't need to be elusive. You just need to be present, period. Just be present. They'll feel you. Just be present. So it's a toss-up. Could Bivol go and fight Canelo and then do a quick turnaround and fight? Yeah, in a perfect world, but we know this is not a perfect world. This is boxing. One, anything can happen. And then two, look how long it takes for these fights to get made. So, yeah, I suppose in a beautiful working world, yes, it could work like that. But things typically don't work out like that in boxing. I feel like the Canelo fight will kind of, me personally, I would say go for Beterbiev. I think it's a way more dangerous fight. Absolutely. But the glory. It's all about the glory. So when I asked the question in the beginning of the video, would you rather have the money or the respect? I would go for the respect. This is why you lace on your gloves. This is it. If you can get all the straps, you did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the king. You are the king. You are the king. Whether you like it, whether anybody likes it or not, you are the king. And quite frankly, I feel like if he goes for those straps, Canelo will want that rematch even more in his weird way of thinking. I think like that would entice Canelo even more. Like, you know what? He got all those straps. I really want this fight. I really want the rematch. We were talking 5 million. No, give him 10 million. Like, I really, really, really want this fight. I can get revenge, and I get all those belts. I really want this fight. I say go for Beterbiev. But, again, that's a dangerous fight. That's a dangerous fight. That's a guy that if he gets you hurt, he gets you out of there. If he smells any fear, he gets you out of there. So it was funny because when Bivol was gearing up for Ramirez, which was, in my opinion, kind of a cakewalk for him, but he said what he does before fights is visualize, okay, what's going to make me win this fight? Do I have more experience? And he goes, yes, I do. Have I been in this situation before? He goes, yes, I have. Have I fought heavy-handed guys before? Yes, I have. But he also mentioned that he thinks about this every fight, that he's had like 300 fights. He's like, well, I've had 300 fights. He's only had like 50. I definitely can beat this guy. But when it comes to Beterbiev, it's kind of different because he's from your part of the world. And he knows the way you were brought up because he was brought up that way. So it's different. It's totally, totally, totally different. That's why I say the stakes are higher. Yes, Beterbiev hits hard. Yeah, he hits freaking hard. Yeah. He puts down heavyweights in sparring. So he hits hard. But that's not my main thing when it comes to Bivol and Beterbiev fighting. My main thing is he came from the same school of hard knocks as you have. And the one thing that you always use before a fight, you can't use that mentally, psychologically against Beterbiev. That's why this fight is dangerous. That's why this fight is dangerous. But that being said, I would still go for the respect. I would still go for all the belts because I believe Canelo Alvarez is crazy enough to say, he beat Beterbiev, the guy who I know I can't beat. I definitely want to fight him now to get the rematch and get my hands on all those belts, which is insane. But I think he's insane enough to do that. So those are my thoughts. And now I want to pose the question to you. How do you think Bivol would fare against Beterbiev? And do you think instead of even looking in that direction, he should take on the rematch with Canelo Alvarez? Drop your thoughts down below. As always, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.